everyone, welcome to another episode of Tips Appreciated. For today's episode, we have our Nom Trips brand ambassador, Anthony, on the podcast. He's been to over 22 countries and has over 4,000 followers on his Instagram page. The handle is Sai. So welcome to the show, Anthony.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So
Nice.
I know I said Sai, but how do you pronounce it properly? I don't know, like butchering that or...
Oh, actually, to be honest, I have no clue how to pronounce it either. I think I probably say it differently every single time I pronounce it to everyone as well. It's by Sai, Sei. I've gotten almost like everything.
Okay.
But
So
I can say it stands out though. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So how did you come up with the name?
So when I was like younger, I think probably in elementary school, I wanted a cool, unique brand name, like my own brand that no one ever has before. So I just typed random letters into the keyboard, and that's what I came up with, and I've used it ever since. That doesn't mean anything. At least I don't think it means anything in any language. At least I hope not. But I guess let me know if anyone has any meaning to it. But so far, it's literally just random letters.
yeah, for the longest time before I actually like met you, I thought that was your name. So I'm like, okay, I hope I'm not like butchering or anything, but it's just your handle.
Yeah, I get that a lot too. I get it. Is that either my first name, they think I have an exotic Asian name, or they think it's my last name.
I like the exotic Asian
Yeah.
name. That's awesome. That's great. So I noticed you have a cat logo as well. What's the thought there?
Yeah, so those I was at one point I wanted to start my own blog and my own kind of like brand, like kind of my own logo, like most companies or most websites do. So the one thing that I kind of really liked was cats, and I also really like pizza. So like it was kind of Pizza Cat logo I used at one point, but I kind of dropped it since then.
So then are you more of a cat person than a dog person then, or?
I'm kind of torn. So I always wanted a cat, but I do quite like dogs as well. If I were to get a cat, I would love to get like a Scottish Fold. For a dog, I want a corgi. I guess a corgi. It sounds typical, but I do want a corgi.
Corgis are super cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been funny this last 2 days. If we were to get another pet, my family is really into K-drama. So we were thinking of K-drama names for our new pet, whether it's a cat or a dog. Anyways, thought I'd throw that out there. Anyways, but yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, thanks for the background there. I think for us, it's been super cool getting to know you this past little while. You're one of our biggest fans, and we're one of your biggest fans. So it's been super cool just to get to know you. So you've been to 22 countries. Is that right? Is that accurate? Or
yeah, that is accurate. I've been asked that. I've actually recounted multiple times just to make sure. And I guess depending what you define as countries, because I also counted city states as well. So for example, Vatican City, and like those small countries as well. Like I also counted.
Nice. So what countries stand out for you when you're 22?
Definitely the top countries that stood to me was my last year's trip to Egypt and Jordan, and my top pick of all times would definitely be Japan.
So why Japan?
I grew up watching like anime, and I love like sushi and the culture, and it's basically like all things Japanese. Like I just love it so much. It's also my longest trip ever. I spent almost a month in Japan versus. Wow. I guess most of my trips where most people usually take 10 days off or I guess 2 weeks off. I spent a full month in Japan.
Wow. That's amazing. Japan is definitely on one of my bucket list. I was there as a kid. My dad has a university friend there at like engineering school or something. Unfortunately, the only thing I remember about Japan was driving around Japan. I just remember he was driving so fast that I was just in the car freaking out. But that's really the only thing I remember. I was probably 6, I would say, 6 or 7. But ever since then, like you, Anthony, it's like the love of the culture. I want to go back at some point. Vic, have you been?
Yes, I have. I've been twice, and I'm surprised somebody owned a car there because like the train system there is awesome. Yeah, driving
Nice.
there, I can't imagine because it's like on the opposite side of the road. I know, like crossing the street and stuff, I had to be careful because I'll be like, whoa, right? Because they're going like the other way.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually always walk the wrong way too,
Hmm.
and also like look both sides of the wrong way as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It took time to get used to because I went to Korea first and then I went to Japan. So Korea, it's kind of like the same as North America, where like the way we drive and like the directions and everything. But then like flying to Japan, it was like total opposite. So I was like, whoa, what's going on? And yeah, I could say a couple times a car like almost hit me, like
Wow.
because I wasn't paying attention. Like, oops, he's
Yeah. So part of what we do on the show here is tips and advice. So what are some of the things that stand out for you for our viewers and listeners on tips of traveling to Japan? It could be anything that you remember. It could be about transportation, like what we just talked about now, airport hacks maybe, or just being overall preparation.
Yeah, I guess like kind of going along with the transportation is make sure once you do get to Japan, make sure you do pick up an IC card. So it's known as an integrated circuit card. I think the two popular ones are Suico and Passimo, but I'm sure there are a bunch of different brands as well. It's essentially a prepaid credit card, but it's meant for transportation, like taking the trains or buses, and I think some convenience stores also accept them.
Mhm.
Right. So is that pretty? I would say advanced there in terms of fill the card, tap,
I
go. Is
think
that
that's very popular in Asia actually, because I know in Hong Kong they have their octopus pass. I think that's what it's called. And
Yeah,
then in Korea they have something really similar. I don't remember the name of it, but it's very similar where you just load cash onto it and then use it like a credit card.
wow?
yeah, I think so. I think maybe we're the ones who are a little bit behind, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
We still have physical tickets here,
Yeah.
but I think that's changing soon. But
Mm-hmm.
what about language? Like, how do you get over the language barrier?
I think that was actually the most interesting part of me because like I guess everyone assumed I spoke Japanese, so everyone just spoke to me in Japanese, and I just stared at them blankly. I think the one thing that saved me the most was Google Translate. I used it for everything, especially the function where you can use your camera to point at things and it'll translate it on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
I used that quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I would say one bonus thing there, because was it I learned Mandarin when I was in like elementary to all the way to high school. And in Japan, I forgot like they use Chinese characters there. So I was kind of able to get away with like, oh, that says washroom or like this says north or south and stuff like that. So I would say learning Chinese characters would help you a little bit over there as well.
Cool. What about like like cell like data plan? Did you get like prepaid or Wi-Fi is everywhere there, or how did you handle that?
Yeah, actually, I think that's a good travel tip. Maybe not specifically in Japan, but for like everywhere you go, like always get like some sort of data plan or some sort of plan to stay connected. Especially when mentioned Google Translate, I think it's pretty universal for almost any country you go to. But specifically for Japan, they have something called a pocket Wi-Fi, where it's literally just a little device you put into your bag, and it creates a hotspot for you. You can share between multiple people, and it's actually pretty decently fast.
Hmm.
I forget the company they went through, but there's a ton of different companies you can pick from, and they shipped it right to my hotel, so it was there when I arrived, and my hotel actually just sent it back for me as well after my trip was done.
Oh, that's
Wow,
awesome.
that's
Because
great.
my experience was I booked a pocket Wi-Fi, but I got it sent to the airport that I was landing at. So I went to the post office at the airport to pick it up. And then when I left, I just dropped it off there.
Yeah, I had that option as well. I think, but when my flights, I think to Tokyo, the flights were a little bit late, so I think most of the post offices were closed already, so I didn't get that
Mm.
option. But that is definitely a good option too. That would have
Hmm.
actually worked out a lot better having Wi-Fi at the airport.
At the airport,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think I would panic a little bit. Just don't like, you don't know where you're kind of going. You're kind of like, okay, I think I'm going here, not making sure you have that internet with you.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, speaking of like airports, there are two airports in Tokyo. I guess if you do go to Tokyo in Japan, so make sure you do land at the correct one. Or I guess even if you're going through Tokyo, make sure that you pick this correct airport.
Hmm.
Nice. Yeah, I know like, when I talk about bucket list and going there, I watch a lot of YouTube videos. as part of like preparing for the trip. Do you do the same?
Yeah, I definitely do. I watch YouTube videos on every country that I've been to, just to kind of see the local, I guess, hacks. Because obviously, visiting as a tourist, you obviously know all the big tourist attraction items, but sometimes it's cool to see all the small little tips and tricks you get per country. I think the biggest thing that didn't click with me until I started watching YouTube videos was make reservations everywhere you go. It's a country with millions of people. Some restaurants literally only hold like 10 people, 15 people. So if everyone wants to go to that restaurant on the weekend, it's quite difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the things, when you and I had chatted before, is the amount of preparation that I mean, especially if we're going for a month, right? Is you have to prepare and stuff. So you mentioned food, which is one of our favorite topics. So talk about some of your food adventures there.
I guess like that's actually the biggest reason why I went to Japan was for the food. Like I mentioned earlier, I love sushi, and I think Japan actually ruined me for sushi a bit. I can't view it the same way.
It's not the same.
Yes.
It's not the same. Okay.
Yeah. Like it's so fresh. I think it just tastes different. I don't know how to describe it. It just tastes so different and so fresh when you're there. Like I guess here most people compare it to like eating in Vancouver. I guess sushi in Vancouver would probably be the closest thing, but
Yep.
it's still different, I think.
Mm-hmm. Even their cheapest sushi over there, it's like 10 times better. Like than something here that would be like really expensive and fancy.
Yeah, it is so true. I think one of the biggest things I heard before I went was like, oh, you can eat a convenience store sushi and it'll be better than the sushi we have here. I didn't believe it until I actually tried it there.
Mm-hmm.
So like 7-Eleven sushi?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
7-Eleven sushi. Yep. Way
All right.
better than the sushi we have here.
Like
And it's way cheaper.
7-Eleven food over there is so good. Like you wouldn't think it, like because here it's like okay, hot dogs, nachos, but over there it's like fresh food.
Wow. That's pretty crazy. How about like I know sushi is huge. I mean, you think of Japan, you probably think of like the staples, right? Any sort of out of the box things you tried there?
Yeah, definitely. So the one place I went to try food was a place called Piss Alley, actually. And the reason why they call it Piss Alley was, I guess, I don't know, I'm going to say back in the day because I don't know the exact time frame. There were no bathrooms in the restaurants. It was little stalls, so people literally peed on the streets. But it's just a chain of restaurants, and you go there and try little big barbecue food. Basically, every single restaurant there's like slightly different things.
Mm-hmm.
The place that I stumbled into, they had some very interesting things on their menu. So I ordered all the unique and weird things. So I tried horse and whale and pork vagina. Like I'm not allowed to say that on here, but it literally said that on the menu.
Wow.
Wow. Like
So what was
did
that
it taste like?
Yeah, what did it taste like?
It just tastes like pork, honestly. It just tastes like pork. It just intrigued me just to order it.
Then what does horse taste like?
I don't remember, to be honest with you, but it was a little bit more. I think it's gamier than regular like beef or chicken that we're used to. Actually, you probably compare it more to beef.
Okay. When I think of whale, I think of just like you're eating fat. Like, was it flubber? Like,
yeah, it was quite fatty. Again, I unfortunately can't remember it. It's also all deep fried.
okay.
So the texture and stuff was a little bit different, I guess, than straight meat.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you recall the prices? Like how much was like each dish?
There were a couple hundred yen, so a couple $100 each. They were small, I guess, like tapas dishes almost.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Some of them were in skewers, and some of them were just on regular plates.
Mm-hmm.
But another place I really tried, like I think I tried, I think it's pufferfish. Is something I also tried. I think it's pretty scary. I was actually kind of a bit hesitant ordering it as well because you hear about those one in I don't know how many cases of people dying from poison as well.
It reminds me of this is like an old Simpsons episode.
That's what
where Homer ate the pufferfish. Okay, that's what I got reminded of. But was it good?
To me, it tastes like fish, to be honest with you. I don't remember it. This is too long ago. Like, I paid a lot of money for it, but I don't remember it. I ordered it to kind of experience it. It was kind of in the zone thing. I wasn't even planning on buying it. It was on the menu. And I was like, oh, might as well. I'm here.
Did you have to sign like a waiver or anything? Or
They did not make me sign a waiver or anything.
Wow.
Wow.
So did you see the tank with the fish in it? Like, or is it just based on trust? I'm ordering puffer
It was
fish.
based on trust. There were fishes like fish tanks, but I didn't go look into it at the restaurant I was in. The restaurant I did try the puffer fish at was rated the top non-Michelin star restaurant in Japan.
Oh,
So I did trust it. I don't think I would go into a regular, I guess, restaurant and just order it.
did you go
Wow.
to like any theme restaurants while you were there, or?
I went to multiple theme restaurants. So the time I went there, Alice in Wonderland was really popular. So they had about 5 pop-up Alice in Wonderland restaurants when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, really cool. I also tried out the Hello Kitty Cafe,
Ooh.
Gundam Cafe,
Mm-hmm.
the Kawaii Monster Cafe that was also really popular all over YouTube as well at the time.
Oh, okay.
But the most interesting experience was Alcatraz. You're a prisoner.
What?
Yes, so it was so obscure, like the menu items.
Mm-hmm.
They made it look like it was like a bit gory or bloody or very obscure. So I went with my girlfriend. I forget, it was either a drink or a meal, and it literally came in a tampon pad, and it was like bloody. Like,
Ew.
food. I know it looks so like it sounds so bad, but the food was quite good.
Wow.
And then sometimes they would shut the lights, and it was a lockdown, so like they would try scaring people. I also went there for my birthday, so they sang to me and they started asking me questions, like obscure questions. But then they realized I didn't speak Japanese, so they just they just made fun of me, I think.
Oh man.
Oh, okay.
Wow, that's
Oh.
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that's a cool thing though, right? It's like not only do you remember the food, you remember the experience itself.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah,
It's a huge
definitely.
piece, right? Yeah. You talk about traveling with your girlfriend. So Vic and I bring like two different perspectives to this, right? I travel with my family of 4. My daughter and son will be 10 and 7 soon. So I don't know. Any advice you can give? Like, man, I want to experience everything you're talking about right now. But is it easy for families to not only get around, but maybe like try some of these places? I mean, going to Piss Alley might be a little different
Or
for the
like
family,
Alcatraz theme.
or Alcatraz,
restaurant.
yeah. Anyways, yeah, it is. Just want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I guess like I can't speak to the family experience. I guess for me, like I'm the type of person who's willing to like, just go and try it. Like I guess safety is probably the number one concern, but in Japan, I think it is probably one of the safest countries I've ever been to. Like I felt really safe. I've seen like actually that's part of the YouTube videos I was watching earlier that people. Actually, there's one YouTube video I was watching. A YouTuber did a social experiment where they literally left like their personal belongings, like their cameras, their wallets, out in public, and no one stole anything.
Wow.
It was all there. So I specifically for Japan, it did feel very safe and a lot of experience. I think they're more than willing to accommodate families and couples or solo travelers.
Wow, it's awesome.
You stayed there for a month. Like, was it mostly like capsule hotels or actual hotels? Because like thinking family wise, it's like I don't think capsule hotels would be like a go-to thing. But
yeah, that's actually one thing I kind of regret not trying is a capsule hotel.
I'm surprised you didn't, especially like staying there for a month.
Yeah, so what I ended up doing was I guess I'll backtrack on my story a little bit. So when I say went to Japan, I guess I only really went to Tokyo for a month. And that was the most interesting part. So that's a decision that I made before going there. Obviously, Japan is a huge country, but specifically Tokyo, there's over 30 plus, don't quote me, 30 plus neighborhoods to explore. So what my girlfriend and I did was we went to almost a different neighborhood every single day. But we also didn't want to pay for a different hotel every single day. So what we did was booked a single hotel and they gave us a discount because we were there for such a long period. And we just took the train. We kind of mentioned earlier that the trains are amazing there. So that's literally what we did. We woke up every morning, caught the train and just went to explore a different neighborhood.
I think we should let our users know like the train like ends at 12 o'clock, like midnight. So
there's operating hours.
Yes. So there have been times where me and my friend were like, oh no, like the trains are gonna end soon, and that's when it gets super packed. So don't miss your train or you'll have to catch a cab. And then, yeah. So 12 o'clock, which is kind of funny, especially being like a city that's like open really late, I would say. But transportation wise, it's like midnight, you're done.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, just kind of on that as well. I found that a lot of things open late, like in the morning. Like I'm a pretty early riser, and I found that things aren't open yet until like 9, 10, or something, even 11 o'clock. Even like some of the tourist attractions I went to.
Yeah, I guess that's where like to your point around planning earlier too, right? So you will only have those limited hours, like if they open a bit later. So, one of the cool things when we chatted, and I won't spoil the place yet, but maybe you could introduce it to our readers. One of the most popular articles on the site was a documentary out there in terms of a sushi place. So give us the story there, and this is incredible. So I want to hear it from you again.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess we mentioned our love for sushi. Like I think that was a pretty recurring topic in this call so far. So the one thing that I really wanted to try going to Tokyo, going to Japan, was sushi from Jiro. So some of you might have seen it was on Netflix, a little documentary on Netflix called Jiro's Dreams of Sushi. They are rated one of the top sushi places in the world. The main restaurant has 3 Michelin stars, and I believe his son opened up a second location which has 1 Michelin star. I want to say, I could be wrong. I think it's 1 Michelin star. And my trip literally revolved around this one sushi place and trying to get that reservation. So we knew that we wanted to go, so we tried everything within our power to try to book to get a reservation. We kind of mentioned earlier that with the city so big, trying to get a reservation at a single restaurant could be quite difficult. But when I was attempting to make a reservation at Jiro's, I actually did not anticipate it to be this hard. I read so many things on the internet, watched so many YouTube videos. Like quite a few people struggled to book it by themselves.
So what'd you do? Like, how did you actually get a reservation?
Yeah, so I guess the first thing I tried was I tried calling myself because I didn't want to pay anyone to do it. I tried I tried paying, and then I tried asking a friend who spoke Japanese to do it, and they couldn't do it either. Like I guess no one picked up.
Wow.
I even waited into the middle of the night because the time difference to try to call and make the reservation, and it was just impossible. I also Googled that if you had a concierge service on your credit card or from your hotel, that might also work. But I don't have a fancy credit card, and I wasn't staying at a luxury hotel either, so I didn't have those options. I did read online that's hit and miss, even if you did have those options. So what I ended up doing was I had to pay a website to book it for me. That was my absolute last resort because it was not cheap either. Yeah, so there is more information on NomTrip's website, like the full detail and full walkthrough I went through. But the website I found was Voyagin. There's a ton of different companies that do it, but I found Voyagin they had the lowest rates and also a pretty high rating on the internet as well. So I was too cheap to book the Ginza location, and it cost 150,000 yen, which is about $150 per person just to make the reservation alone for the main location.
Per person.
So you're down to the whole $300 already for 2. I guess a family of 4, that would be $300 gone already.
Just go to the conveyor belt sushi, Eddie. You'll be fine.
7-Elevens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's just to book it. That's not even like paying for anything else.
Oh man.
So I ended up booking the Roppongi location, which is about half the price, which is 70,000 yen per person, which is about $70 per person. So between my girlfriend and I, we paid about $140 to make that reservation for us. And keep in mind, these fees are not guaranteed either, and you don't really get to pick your date. You can give them a window. If they get it, they get it. If they don't, then
wow,
that's it. They refund you your money back, but it's not guaranteed either.
Wow.
Crazy.
Okay. So was it worth it? Like, how was the food? And the experience, yeah.
So the experience was absolutely like amazing. It's my first time being in like a fully, truly luxury restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
They sat down, you're greeted. They went through all the different ingredients that they use. It's an open kitchen, so the chef was right in front of you. I was really happy because I actually got to meet Jiro's son. I'm gonna butcher his name, but it's like Takashi Ono.
Mm.
I got to meet his son, and he was our chef,
Nice.
which is really cool to see.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah. Well, I didn't say it, but like, oh, you're from Netflix. Like, you're from the documentary I watched.
Everybody gets it all the time.
Yeah. So they went through all the ingredients, and he was telling us that I think his head chef went down to a local fish market and caught and bought all these fishes, so they're absolutely fresh. And he just went through the entire experience with us. So it was a 20-course meal, and with every single I guess meal that he prepared, he explained it to us, like what it is, what went into it. However, there was a little bit of a language barrier. Like his English was pretty limited, so he did try his absolute best to translate everything for us as well, which is actually pretty really amazing. And when I say 20-course meal, each course is like 1 or 2 pieces of sushi, so it's not like a full course. Well, it is a full course meal overall, but each meal is quite tiny.
Yeah.
Right.
The entire experience only took half an hour.
Really?
So it wasn't like a very long. It was almost like sit down, eat, done, and you're not to sound like it wasn't rushed or anything. It was a good experience. But it was only about half an hour long.
Wow. That's crazy.
Okay, so the food was amazing, right?
It was absolutely amazing.
Wow.
Like the sushi, like literally just melts in your mouth. Like even the rice, like melts in your mouth. Like I don't even know how to explain it. I guess in my head, like I had a regular store-bought sushi the other day here. It's just so different. Like the rice was a little bit hard.
Yeah.
It was refrigerated, and then and now I'm just thinking, going back, like man, this like it was like warm, it melts, and it was just it creates like a good sensation, like a good I guess like aroma. Not really aroma. That's not the right word, but it's a very good sensation when you put it in your mouth.
Wow. Yeah. How much was the meal?
The meal after conversion costed just under $1,000 for both of us.
Wow.
1,000 Canadian dollars for both of us, so about $500-ish each.
Okay.
Not including the reservation.
Right. So it's like $1,500.
Yeah.
For the whole experience, right? For 2 people.
For 2 people, yeah, for half an hour.
For half an hour. Would you do it again?
Probably not.
But that rice melting, like
Yeah.
I don't want to experience
The
that
aroma.
again.
I know. I don't think I can ever justify it again. Like, maybe I would go to the Ginza location, like to the main location, because apparently that's also very different. But or there's also like the one thing I kind of reiterated quite a bit was if you can't get in, there are like numerous Michelin star restaurants that are probably similar, and they're a fraction of the price.
Yeah, I could say that I went to one Michelin star restaurant in Japan, right? And it was so fancy, but it only costed us like $100, and they hired a translator for us like that day, and it was like a 20-course meal, the same, but it wasn't like half an hour. It was like over an hour. So just hearing the half an hour is like, whoa, that's fast.
Was it more than 20 pieces of sushi?
Oh yeah, like you had soup and everything. Like it got to the point. My friend and I were like, okay, we're stuffed. Like, when can we go? But like food just kept on coming. Just like whoa, but it was really good. I don't remember the name of the restaurant because my friend's sister actually lives in Japan, so she booked it for us. But yeah, it was like really good. But it was crazy because they had like the translator there. Like they obviously hired the translator for us because you could tell she wasn't a part of the restaurant, just like seeing what she was wearing and everything. But my friend's sister told them, it's like, oh, it's foreigners. They don't know any like Japanese. So like, just to let you guys know. So they went out of their way to get a translator for us, which was really nice.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, I think this is why like Japan is on my bucket list. Just hearing your stories again is pretty incredible. Obviously like a lot of planning goes into it and stuff. Would you be open to sharing some of your notes with like our viewers and readers?
Yeah, definitely. So I do have a full itinerary of everything that I did. Like, so basically snippets and highlights of each neighborhood. So I kind of mentioned that I spent about a day, 1 to 2 days in each neighborhood. And I wanted to make sure when I attend those neighborhoods that I visit all like the hot spots, like, what's a neighborhood well known for, or what food is well known in that area. So yeah, I would definitely be open to sharing. It is a couple of years old now, so things might have changed by now.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah. Well, okay, one more question about Japan. So I know we talked about food and everything, but other than food, what was your top thing like you liked doing there? Like activity wise, or like what would you say was your favorite thing?
Hands down, the arcade.
Yeah, I was
Arcade.
gonna say the same thing. The arcade there are awesome. Like so awesome. They're like floor after floor. Like,
yeah, I think like almost like every night we was like, okay, we're done like kind of like our trip, like not really a trip, like we're done the day. Let's do the arcade, and that's all we did. Like almost like, every single night, we just went to arcades.
You
That's
see like the
incredible.
Sega sign, you're like, oh, arcade. It's awesome. And okay, so they have those like claw machines, like the UFO machines or whatever. So if they know you're a foreigner, they'll help you try to get like a stuffy. Like they'll let
that's
you win.
awesome.
Yeah, which is super nice.
Wow. So are they everywhere? Arcades?
They're spread out quite a bit, I think, but there are definitely neighborhoods that do have the bulk of them.
Okay.
Like Akihabara, or I forgot the name of that neighborhood.
Yeah,
Akihabara?
Akihabara. I can never pronounce it.
Yeah. That neighborhood is like known for all the arcades and everything. But I would say, I don't know, there are some floors that people smoke on, so I don't know if it's like kid friendly for you, Eddie.
Right.
Like I don't know, there's like a
that is
smoke free zone.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is like I don't know, a lot of restaurants too, they allow smoking in there.
Actually, that caught me by surprise. That a lot of restaurants like indoor smoke. There's actually quite a bit of indoor smoking, which I actually did not know that still existed. Maybe that sounds a bit arrogant, but like it being coming from Canada, but I didn't know that was still allowed in a lot of countries.
Well, I guess it's kind of like in Vegas, how they smoke
Yeah.
inside the casinos.
Actually, I'm gonna retract my statement. That is true. There's
Yeah, I'll say we've been to Vegas 3 times with the family, and we've survived the casinos. Well, can't really go into the casinos, but you walk around the machines and stuff. Right?
But their air filters and stuff are like pretty good. But in Japan, it's like you could smell it like right away.
Yeah. Well, you said the restaurants are small too, right? So, so it's not like it's, it's not like Olive Garden when
yeah, but not all the restaurants I found like people were smoking. Only some were, but I could say for sure the arcades there was a lot of smokers on there. But super fun.
It's kind of arcade. Did you ever try the pachinko machines?
Okay. I went into one. So I don't know if this is true or not, but this is hearing from what my like sister or friend's sister that lives there. So all those places are run by like the mobs there. So she's like, yeah, you could play it, but I wouldn't recommend it. So me and my friend just went in to experience it. But I could say the washrooms were really nice there. Like, okay, so in anime when they have that glowing like the shiny like I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? But in the washroom, the mirrors, when you walk in front of it, it would have that glowing like like anime. Like it was so cool. Wow. But yeah, that's the only experience I had in there. I didn't play the games because I was like, But I just the washrooms were nice.
Well, maybe if there's one close to like Piss Alley or something that you go there to use the bathrooms, nice right?
Oh, I guess speaking about washrooms, like over there they have fancy toilets. So they have like tons of buttons and like you can play music and all that stuff. So yeah, like they're fancy toilets over there.
Nice. Cool. A lot of things to talk about Japan, and you've been to 22 countries. What's sort of the 23rd country? Where's the where's the next place you're looking to go?
So the next place I was planning on going is Peru. So I actually already booked it for this year in I guess 2022, not 2022. Sorry.
Trust me, like
yeah.
it's 2020 and we want it to be 2022 with
Yeah.
freaking COVID, right?
I was thinking
anyways,
2021. I was gonna say 2021, and then thinking next
Okay.
year after that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I think
Okay,
I
Peru. Let's
rebooked
talk
it for
about Peru.
2021. Yeah.
Gotcha. Nice.
Man, but why Peru?
So one of my goals is to visit all 7 wonders of the world. So Peru is just kind of like next on the list.
Mm-hmm. Like,
Wow.
are you gonna do the trek? Like to go to Machu Picchu? Is it Machu Picchu, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's Machu Picchu.
Yeah.
So you do the hike. So a bunch of different tour agencies I found. You can either do like I think a 5-day hike, a 3-day hike, a 1-day hike, a half-day hike, or you can just take the train and it'd be a 0-day hike, I guess.
Yeah.
So I opted the train, but I'm still like debating if I should change it. The
Okay.
biggest reason why that I'm still debating is the Peruvian, I think that's the government, I think that's like how you pronounce it, Peruvian. They decide to limit how many tourists can visit the trail each year, so that you have to buy a hiking pass, and they can get pretty up there in price. If you're a bit late, they can get up to $500, $600, $700 per person just to do the hike, and that doesn't include your tour guide or anything else as well.
Wow, I didn't know that because I was actually looking at it too. Because my boyfriend wanted to do the 7-day hike. I was like, ooh, right? Like I'll just take the train. But yeah, that's good to know that they're raising prices on that, and they're putting limits on how many people could go a year.
Yeah, it depends on the demand and how late you book. So if you book very last minute, and if for those certain dates there's only certain passes left, then it'll be very high. But if you book well ahead of time, you can usually get fine. I think the average cost is, I haven't done too much research into it, but it's in the low hundreds per person.
Oh, okay. So if you did the train, like how many hours does it take to get there?
I do have a full itinerary. I haven't looked at it, to be honest with you. I did book through a travel agency though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then now that trip's gonna be in 2022? Or?
Well, I postponed it to 2021. I do have it in May 2021. So May is supposed to be the best time to head to Peru. So it's not too cold, not too hot. It's still considered a down season because a lot of people are still in school. So it's supposed to be the best time to go. But with as COVID, I don't know if it's still travel there. I don't think they officially opened up Machu Picchu yet. I guess at the time of this, the time that we're talking.
Wow. But how long were you like planning to stay there for?
Yeah. I was planning on staying in Peru for 10 days. So it's like a couple days through Cusco's, like the Machu Picchu, and kind of look at all those different areas. And we're also going to spend 3 days in the Amazon forest as well.
Wow.
Ooh, nice. That's awesome.
That sounds amazing, actually.
Yeah, and then I got a bunch of shots for it. It was all your malaria and all your different. I forget. I have a list of shots. I got them already. But...
You already got them. Oh man! Yeah. But then, are you good for next year though, or you have to?
I should be. I should be good.
Should be.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then, after Peru, like, what's on the next list? Or you don't know yet?
Well, actually, so I was supposed to go to Peru this year, and then next year was supposed to be India. So I'm hoping India to be next for the Taj Mahal.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That would be a nice one to go.
And I was thinking of doing India and Nepal together because they're like side-by-side countries. And Nepal, I'm kind of interested to maybe going to base camp for Mount Everest.
My best friend actually did that, and she said it was awesome. But that was a long trek.
Yeah, I also saw that there are like helicopter tours and stuff. Instead of actually hiking there, you can just take a helicopter. Maybe I'll do that.
No, I don't know if you've seen videos on this, because when you get to Nepal, before you could go on the base trek, you have to take a tiny plane to where they go. And my best friend, she was showing me videos of that, and she's like, "Oh yeah, there's like always like flight, like planes crashing like really often, because it's like the shortest what's that thing when you like go really fast?
Runway?
The runway is like the shortest runway in the world." So she was showing me that. I'm like, "Are you sure you want to go?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "What?" It happened. So I think like a day before she was supposed to fly, a plane like crashed. I was like, what?
Holy.
Yeah, because it's like really short. So
Well, I'll keep that in mind.
yeah, keep that in mind.
Run some statistics on that.
Keep that in mind. But she said it was worth it and that she would like do it again. But yeah, she's like, oh, it's easy. I was like, I don't know, because you get like altitude sickness like pretty easily going up and everything. So yeah, it's something I would say. Well, she said you don't have to train for it, but she's fit. So I would say just train.
Train for it.
Train a little bit for it.
Train a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but regardless, like how cool would I be saying, yeah, I've been to Mount Everest. Like I think that's like that's really cool to say.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing actually. Nice. Yeah, I think well thank you so much for sharing a lot of these experiences. One of the things that we want to do is really build a huge community, just sharing knowledge, sharing tips, stuff like that. So if you were to think of like one tip for, you know, our community, if they want to start traveling, like, you know, do you reach out to people and talk to them? What do you do? Like, you know, just give some advice. Like, how do you handle just all the amount of information that out there, but also the human connection in talking with someone?
Yeah, I think the biggest advice I would give to anyone is just don't be afraid to ask people. Like, reach out. I guess like I think social media is our biggest connection. I think it might be scary or intimidating sometimes to message people or to people that you don't know at all. But I think people like, I guess, quote unquote, real life people, like I guess you and I, who's been on the trip, you can just ask them and get their experience or their thoughts. I think you can learn quite a bit. Some of my tips, I know we talked about YouTube earlier, but some of the tips and tricks I got earlier were actually just from DMing random people on Instagram who I saw went on the trip already.
Nice. So they're like more than happy to have that conversation and share their tips too, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I guess like you can feel free to even DM myself. I think sometimes people go through some of my photos, and they see that like, Anthony's been here. Maybe we'll just like message him and ask his experience. What did he do and stuff like that. I think it happens quite a bit in a lot of social media communities.
That's awesome. Because I would be kind of scared, like messaging someone and be like, "Who are you?" Like, I don't want to talk to you kind of thing, but okay, that's nice to know though.
Yeah. I mean, the worst is you just won't get a reply. I think that's the worst thing.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true, right? Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe for our viewers and listeners, you know, maybe just sort of reiterate your handle, you know, the best way to get a hold of you. Is there anything that you want to talk about for you as well that you want our viewers and listeners to remember?
So I guess my Instagram handle is Sai, or however you pronounce it.
You don't even know how.
Yeah, I pronounce it at all.
Okay. All right, let's spell it out.
Yeah, so it's SAIEII. I do mainly like blog around Edmonton, I guess YAG, Edmonton, restaurants, events, and things like that. But I do travel quite around Alberta quite a bit, and of course, I love traveling. Like I've been to 22 different countries. And I guess that's something that I really enjoy doing. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions about traveling or even restaurants or opinions on anything. Maybe, not even to me, like to anyone you see on Instagram. I think that's the one thing is just don't be afraid and be willing to try new things.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, so before we close out this episode, we want to show, a surprise segment, I guess. And here's a surprise segment. So this is your first ever Instagram post. Can you explain to us like what this is? Or do you even remember posting this in 2012?
Let's see, 2012. It is near Banff. It's that factory near Banff, like that pit stop that everyone attends. And I don't think I even took Instagram seriously. I didn't even I just created it just for the sake of creating it. And that was a family trip I went on, and I just posted it. I don't know why.
Now, did you like remember a lot of us, posting it? Yeah. Like, do you even remember posting this like so long ago?
I think the only thing I remember about this post was going through all the different filters, because I think this one you can see it's using one of the preset Instagram filters.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, it's so cool. Like, just go through all these things. I'm sure the photo didn't even look that nice.
That looks cool to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And I could say it took a long time for me to get to this photo. Like,
Yeah, we're
scroll.
scrolling. the whole way
scroll.
through.
I wish there was a way to kind of flip it to see like your first post, but no, you had to scroll all the way to get to this photo.
And I don't remember. I was just looking at my comments. Like, thanks. Took me 1 hour. Like, I don't know what that even means.
Maybe they're just all the filters. You're just playing with the filters.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Well, thanks for being a good sport with our surprise segments.
Mm-hmm.
We thought like it's cool, right, to look back in some of the memories too. I think my first Instagram post was in Hawaii, and I was having a Starbucks. So I literally just put it on the sand, took a picture, and what was the next thing I did? It was played with filters like you. So I think that was mine. Anyways.
Awesome. Okay, so thank you for coming on our podcast, Anthony. And yeah, so to our listeners, remember to like and subscribe and to follow Nom Trips. Okay, thanks.
Awesome. Thanks again, Anthony.